What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Lonnie Reacts, and today we are back with another reaction video. Now, this video is titled Seraph of the End had the most one-sided beef ever. Now, if you don't know, Seraph of the End is like one of the most underrated animes that has ever come out. Sadly, it never got a third season, and I think it was because they just simply didn't make enough money from the first two seasons. Mainly due to the fact that Seraph of the End came out in like 2016, so a lot of big animes were coming out during this time, like My Hero, One Punch Man, Mob, Psycho. Just a lot of different animes foreshadowed Seraph of the End. But this was a really good anime, and I remember it somewhat, but I don't remember it a lot. And from the title, I guess this one-sided beef would be the vampires and the humans. And I would say it was kind of one-sided because the vampires were beating the shit out of the humans. Like I really don't even think that war should have been longer than 5 years. The vampires were just clearly superior in damn near every single form. But as usual, I don't have too much to say. Let's just jump into this video, man.
So I'm making it a goal of mine to cover the heavy hitters of the 2010s and late 2000s that may have had a recently declining fan base. And during my intensive research, which totally was not searching 2010s anime, I stumbled across one of the most violent fumbles in anime history. Yeah, Seraph of the End. To dumb down the Seraph of the End plot, it's basically vampires versus humans, except this rivalry is like Manchester City versus United in the last decade. They are getting cooked. The
Bro,
humans are not up.
the humans were getting fucked in Seraph of the End. Like, and I think the only reason they were able to even keep up somewhat is because they were making deals with demons and devils and shit. I do remember that. Well, this was an amazing show, bro, and I hate the fact that it just never got a third season because it genuinely deserved more than what it got.
To the task. I know this honestly could have been some people's gateway into anime because it was on Netflix for a bit, but me, I was watching this as a young buck in 2015, and honestly, it houses some of my favorite characters ever, such as
I was
Gurren.
watching this on Hulu back in 2017, 2018. Man, dog, this anime was so fucking fire. And I was so hurt to learn that, they were never going to make another season, bro. And I know I keep saying that, but if you've watched this anime and you've seen it, bro, you'd want another season too. Like, genuinely.
Who will be shown in this video with heavy chainage around his neck, and Shinoa, who I ain't gonna lie, was the love of my life as a kid. But nobody cares about my life. Nah, we're trying to hear about you. No, not you. Nobody cares about your bitch ass. We're talking about you. But hey, cut the small talk. Let's go. So we start off and people are just straight up dropping to the ground, clutching on their chest, and basically the entire human race over 13 years old is about to get packed up because of some disease. For whatever reason, children are immune to. And in this orphanage, there's like 7 kids trying to get their guardian to wake up, but she's been cooked by the disease. All now, somebody just smashes through the window like, dog, there's a door right there. See, even your own boy understands. But yeah, they get rounded up and now in the custody of vampires. 4 years later, we see them living in the vampire land, and they all got the soulless drip on. Where's the expression? They really got these guys lined up in 3/4 length trousers. This got to be abuse. Anyway, this is our main character, you, and this is his day one dog, Michaela. Now, these two jits are playing, drawing on the ground, and looking at the environment and the fact that the alleged chalk they're using is brown, I would not be too surprised if they're just straight up using dried up horse shit. Anyway, the two vampires pop through, and they just stand at them niggas like they don't exist. Now, use MC Gene start going off, and he's all like, stop! Apologize, yada yada yada. Now his ass is dangling off the edge of a bridge. Luckily, this noble vampire named Ferret walks down and
I
he
remember
goes
his
the other
ass.
two bums away. And Ferret is all
I
like,
think from what I remember, he was a Hisoka ass nigga, little fruity ass nigga, little weirdo. But I think he was actually pretty cool.
so Mika boy, you coming to my room tonight? And Mika is all jolly and shit while getting caressed out by some yes, oh yes. Fred asks you if he's trying to join, but he shuts that bullshit down. Later, you was talking to one of his siblings from his orphanage, and he gets a flashback to when he was a snotty-nosed badass jit and was just an overall asshole to all the other kids in the orphanage. He gets home and they're having curry for dinner, but these guys were literally drinking cat piss for nutrition, so how could they suddenly get curry? Then you notices that Mika is all up in Fred's dungeon, so we ain't even really know what on earth he could be getting up to in there, but he's somehow getting the goods. Mika gets home and Yu's getting annoyed that Mika is shouldering all the burden, even though he's the main character. While they are eating, it turns out Mika wasn't letting Fred suck him dry. Blood. Blood, by the way, for no reason. And he pulls out a Glock and map of the whole city, and they decide that it's today that they'll enact their plan. Aww, look at all of them. They're going through straight sewage, narrowly missing ops, and they make it to the final stretch before escaping. Look at
I
this
will
one go.
say one thing I like about this anime is unique. I like unique animes, bro. Like a lot of those how you say isekais and just a lot of different animes, bro, they literally just copy shit other people do. I like animes that have their own thing, their own history, their own lore, their own everything from scratch. And this is an anime that has that. Now there are many animes that are like that, of course, but I mean, guys, Seraph of the End could have been so much more, and that's the thing. I really hate the fact that this show just didn't continue, bro. Because I kid you not, I genuinely believe this shit had potential to be a top 10 anime of all time. Like I kid you not, after you unlock that Salt King form, and the final episode after that, bro, that shit was fire. If they made a season 3, bro, and just continued, bro, I genuinely believe that Seraph of the End could be in top 10 anime talks. But they didn't, man.
with that little strut. They walk out into the open, but yeah, this is an anime episode 1 involving an escape plan with a lot of kids. I've seen this formula before. Unfortunately, all of you niggas are plot devices because they see Ferris standing there himself. The wind blows the map out of Mika's hands, and all of a sudden, he got straight fangs in this nigga's neck. He packed it up on the spot. And now you shows his trump card, but he's shooting straight wind and misses Ferret completely. You orders them all to run, but I ain't gonna lie, cranberry juice is spilling everywhere. All of these kids got speed
Like,
blitz, and
bro, the
Actonate,
vampires
older
were
sister, gets
so
packed up
fast,
too. Now it's just Mika and
so
you. And you
strong,
know Mika been fighting for the MC
so
rights this
smart.
whole time, so he tells you that they'll always be
I don't even
family, then
understand
takes
how
the
this
Glock
was a
and runs
war.
straight for Ferret. Oh, that's a 2-piece from hell. He gets one in his chest, then his arm cut off. But you, last minute, picks up the tool and lets it sing point blank. Mika's telling you to go and not to let him die in vain, but you won't give up. Mika notices the other guys are coming and pushes him away before shouting at him to run. And now you finally listens and screams out while running away. He ends up at this snowy mountain, and this guy named Gurn picks him up. And let me tell you something about Gurn. His chain is just as heavy as you's on the bros. Now Gurn openly admits that they plan on using you as a tool to eradicate the vampires, and shit, he got no objections. As a matter of fact, he loves the idea. We skip another 4 years and see you dripped out head to toe. Oh yeah, he's clean.
It's one thing I love the uniforms in this show too. This shit was fire, and I love the just the fighting, and everyone had their own weapons, their own abilities. It was just really cool as fuck, and the whole squad system. That shit just dope as fuck, bro. This shit, man, this shit break my heart that this show didn't get a third season. And I know I've said this 100 times, and I'm going to say it 100 more times. It hurts, bro. Like, this was a show that really deserved really deserved so much fame. It's like, man.
If you're looking at you with this clean fit and sword in his hip and are thinking, I wish I had this level of steez, then look no further than today's sponsor, Anime Express. He clean. First time we see him in action, he's defying orders and taking these big ass monsters off the map. He out there turning it into bacon, and Peep is pose after. So you is suspended from soldier duty for disobeying orders, and we have Shinoa here, who's an army surveillance officer that's keeping tabs on you during school, and this forces him to actually pay attention in class. Shinoa is making fun of you for having no friends. He also will be indefinitely suspended from the army duty if he does not make one, and he's all like, I don't need them, I just want to kill vampires, so tell Gurren to enlist me already. And Gurren is basically used anti-Flash, so he predicts this response and calls him a bitch-ass friendless virgin. And bear in mind, this is all over a pre-written letter. He low-key called for that. There was some minor paraphrasing, but it was pretty damn close to what he said. Right after, you and Shinoa see this one kid getting bullied, and you originally walks off, but he spins back to help. Now, peep how this bully is chewing while talking in his face, but I'm actually crying. This would make me so mad. And yeah, it turns out you can't even fight back because they would just extend his suspension, so he ends up getting the shit rocked. Anyway, it turns out this guy getting bullied wants to enlist in the army too to avenge his sister who died protecting him. You tells him that he shouldn't do it because that's just not what his sister would have wanted. And just as he says this, an explosion goes off in the background. There's been a vampire appearance. Again, MC Genetics will kick in at times like this, so you go straight for it instead of evacuating. Goes to his locker, which has a sword and a Glock from way back when in it. I'm not sure how they even let this fly. If I saw a nigga in my school with a Glock and a sword, nigga, police. Help. He pulls up on the vampire all slick with one hand in his pocket. Nigga, who are you feeling
I mean,
like?
you see why they let it slide. Motherfucking vampire pulling up to the school and shit.
You attacks, but she flips like a billion times to weave him before round kicking him to the ribs. Damn. That looked like it hurt. And he's really gonna keep going like this shit didn't just happen. He ends up cutting off one of the vampire's arms and tells the other bum in the room to help because he's meant to be in the army, but it turns out old buddy is just a scrub who was lying. Anyway, you and the vampire are going back and forth before he pulls out his Glock and check his handling on this second shot. He must have some type of black in him. That's a hood technique. The vampire swerved all of it and is going to drink this girl's blood to regain her strength, but just in time, Yoichi dives in and stops her. You blocks her next attack and now he's getting pushed back. Hell, they free falling out of the window. You about to get soaked dry, but then Gurren puts his sword right in her chest, talking about something you called. Normally I'd hate, but no funny shit, he's clean. Then he punks you calling him sorry. Then Yoichi jumps on you in celebration and Shinoa says Yoichi should count as Yu's friend, W Wingman. So yeah, both Yoichi and Yu get enlisted to the Moon Demon Company. Yu is getting confessed to by the girl he saved, and I'm not sure where the love for Yoichi is because he was the one that actually pushed the vampire off you. I mean, this is just like those black pill edits on TikTok, bro. You know, like the ones that are like, they're like, I'm not gonna touch. Oh shit! I'm, I'm looking colder. I can't lie. Fuck, I was off the dome. Anyway, Shinoa is watching him and of course teasing him. One thing leads to another and him and Shinoa end up training against each other. Except Shinoa has a demon weapon, so she ends up low-key rocking you shit. But this is where he decides that he wants his own.
My bad for
The
the
two
coughs.
bullies from earlier end up pulling up a Yoichi shamelessly asking for his help because one of their boys went into the forbidden chamber and hasn't come out since. Shinoa tells him to give up as even if you go in there, you likely ain't ever coming out. Later, the three of them show up by themselves. The place is actually special training for the Moon Demon Company to get infernal arts, which are like, you know, the demon weapons. And in order to do so, you have to win over the demon. Yu sees the lost guy and runs straight in like a dumbass because he wants his axe. He engages, but Shinoa stops him before he touches it because it's very likely Yu will be corrupted by the demon feeding on his desire to be strong enough to beat vampires. He doesn't believe that and touches the axe anyway. Not before kneeing this nigga in the nose for like no reason. Then his trial starts and he's brought back to the time where he's with all his family. In there, the demon is tormenting him using his own family's face, saying that he hasn't done shit to avenge them. Yu knows that Miko will never tell him to chase after revenge and he successfully wards the demon off. He proved the haters wrong, not gonna lie. We cut back to Ferret for the first time in ages and he's talking to someone saying that they found the person they're looking for. And yeah, this person is none other than Mika. So Mika's actually alive because he drank the blood of the third progenitor Tepes and Ferret was just pretending to be dead back then. Anyway, Cruel offers Mika eternal life, but he says no. That nigga had no choice, I'm not gonna lie, she just done it anyway. Back in school, someone bumps into you and he just cracks. What type of unreasonableness is this? So they just decide to start boxing. It cuts to later when Yu and Yoichi are being introduced to the rest of the Moon Demon class, and in his seat is the same guy who punched him earlier, and these guys just start going at it again, but Gurren shuts that shit up. Kimizuki comes in asking about his demon sword and that he desperately needs to join the Moon Demon Company and offer assistance to his dying sister, but Gurren tells him that he'll just be demon food due to his desires. Gurren lets out some of that demon aura from his sword just to show that this shit ain't really sweet. In one of their tests, Kimizuki and Yu are paired up to fight a test dummy while chained together, but the test is interrupted because Kimizuki's sister's health is deteriorating and he has to see her. But since the test is so important, Kimizuki asks to stay. Yu knows what it's like to lose someone he loves, so he knocks some sense into Kimizuki and they go visit her. Hey, why are they still handcuffed together though? They're both going to fail the test, but the only thing they have in common is being dogs who won't give up. We skip to a meeting between the higher-ups from the Moon Demon Company. All now Gurren is sleeping during the meeting. We also see Shinoa's Pops is the leader of the entire thing. Gurren is part of the Ichinose branch family, so Shinoa's Pops is basically calling him a lowly rat. Gurren ain't really cared too much though, so he just walks straight out. Right out the meeting, Yu jumps Gurren because he wants to get his demon weapon, so he listens and takes Yu to go get one. Not before getting his get back though. They're getting their results for some in-house tests and Yu got an astonishing 0%. And you know Shinoa is on that and starts clowning him in front of the entire class. She's running rings around him. Kimizuki joins in too and he actually gets his flexes diamonds because he's gotten 100 on everything. Gurren walks in and he's got a stick for not giving these niggas their demon weapons yet, so he decides to test if they're really up for it by letting out his demon aura, and only the people still standing get to go receive one, and that leaves Yu, Kimizuki, Yoichi, and Shinoa. And so they arrive at where they're going to get their demon weapon, they all approach theirs and start their trial. They're all put through the most traumatic moments of their lives, with the demon taking the form of their precious loved ones, and Yu beats his demon, and his demon says that he can feel that Yu isn't fully human, and that he should be careful because humans are far scarier and slimier than any vampire or demon. When he comes to, he realizes he wasn't even the first one that beat his shit. Pause. And Kimizuki had completed his trial before him. The issue is Yoichi, whose demon is low-key baking him. She's saying that Yoichi's desire to avenge his sister doesn't exist, and that she'll take his body and do it for him. Shit, Yoichi ain't even fight back. And then he gets possessed. Gurren says that they're gonna have to end Yoichi. Yu and Kimizuki are holding back because they don't want to kill him. They start using their talk no jutsu to bring him back, and he flashbacks to when his sister is sacrificing her life for him. His desire isn't to gain power to avenge his sister, but rather to gain power to protect his loved ones. And with that, he comes back to his senses. Then Then Gurren kicks Yu for no reason. What type of stray is this? He tells them to accept these guys as his new family and forget about changing the past. It's their first day on the job and Shinoa is waiting for Yu. She says he's looking kind of fly in his uniform, and I got to agree. And I know he wants to return the compliment, but this nigga's really a tsundere at heart. Look at that face. They arrive at the meetup spot, and with them is another girl that's going to be added to the team named Mitsuba, who is already beefing with Shinoa. They are on a mission outside the gate and encounter a monster using a kid to bait out the team. Mitsuba tells everyone to stand by, but Yu has MC genes and he won't watch the little girl die right in front of him, so he rushes out to save her. He's holding back the monster and Mitsuba helps him out, but they're ambushed by vampires that were using the entire thing as bait. They all work together to slump the monsters before fighting the vampires. Yu lets off an attack and this Loki shows the vampires that his chain is real, so they end up just retreating. Mitsuba is scolding Yu as he reminds her of herself in the past, who done the same thing as Yu but caused her entire squad to die. Later the kid tells them where the vampires hideout is, so they go track them down. Yu stumps a vampire, but the whole thing was low-key a setup and they get ambushed. Mitsuba is caught by a vampire and tells everyone to just leave her, but these guys just say hell no and get straight to the boxing. She thinks that this is going to be a repeat of the last time, but this is the MC. He's out there rocking their shit. And now they carry Mitsuba away before they off-screen the others. The little girl apologizes.
I think I did when I was watching years ago. I wanted you and what's her name, Mitsuba. I wanted them to get together.
In front of Mitsuba saying that she must be in love with you now. They need to head to Shinjuku and end up finding a car to drive in. On their way, they encounter a singular vampire walking on the street.
This nigga right here, oh my god. Till this day, this nigga is like genuinely one of the craziest niggas I've seen in any anime, bro. Like, nigga strong as fuck for no reason. And like, this is also another reason I wanted another season, because I wanted to see who the fuck would beat this nigga. Like, even you in his Salt King form, I don't know if he'd be able to beat this nigga, bro. This nigga is insanely powerful, bro.
You can just tell by his bop, he's got some steez to him. He's a noble vampire. They ran the car into him, but he stops that bitch with one arm. He flash steps and attacks Shinoa, but Yu steps in with the save. Two more vampires step in and inform the vampire Crowley that Ferret is waiting for him, so he lets Shinoa and the gang go. He then literally perception blitzes Yu and taps his back just to let him know that shit, this thing is not sweet. He really could have murked them at any time he wanted. The squad meets up with the rest of the
He could have killed them all if he genuinely wanted to. And that's the thing about him. That nigga, he was strange, bro. Like, he was like a cool vampire, but at the same time, he was a vampire. So like, he was still drinking blood, killing humans, all type of shit. But he was, at the same time, he was cool. It was just strange, bro. And I really liked his character though.
Juki unit, and Gurren is watching Ferret and Mika. And peep how Ferret looks into the gam. This is just like the one Hunter x Hunter scene. I know you know the one. Ferret is telling Mika to drink blood while he can, but Mika tells him to shut up, meaning he's been holding off on doing it this entire time. While the team is heading to the front line, Shinoa shows them pills that amplify their power. One makes them 1.5 times stronger, and two makes them 1.8 times stronger. Take 3, and your ass starts seeing the stairway to heaven. Gurren lets out an attack that's aimed for Ferret, but misses, and now they're face to face with each other. Yu and Shinoa were separated from the other 3, and after hearing that they were holding down the central park by themselves, they rush over to help them, but they low-key ain't even really need it. Kimizuki tells them to have some more faith in the rest of his teammates. Now they're en route to the main defense unit. It cuts to Mika and Gurren's clash, and they're going bang for bang while free-falling. Ferret asks if he should step in, but Mika's still doing the whole nonchalant gimmick and says no. But what Mika doesn't know is that Gurren is really grimy. He never even planned on it being a fair 1v1.
This is actually honestly crazy to me though, because Mika, being a vampire who doesn't even drink human blood, he was able to somewhat go toe and toe with Gurren. And mind you, this is a relatively young Mika, who's a relatively new vampire. And I think that puts into perspective just how fucking strong the vampires were. Because like that nigga that we just seen who stopped the car with one hand, he would destroy Gurren. He like, I even think what's his name? The Hisoka prototype, I can't think of his name. I even think he would destroy Gurren too. The vampires in this show were just insanely overpowered, and I think the only hope that the humans had was Yu and his Salt King form.
Ferret has to step in to save him by blocking Gurren's attack. He backhands Gurren and shit, this sends him flying. He's even tumbling in the sky. Someone got to do something. They're messing up my nigga's brand. But of course he's gonna be all like, guess I'm gonna have to get serious, and takes a second pill. He asks Mika to wait 20 seconds for the effects to kick in, but Mika surprisingly doesn't let his anime opponents power up. That's refreshing. Gurren is getting overpowered, and Yu's team arrives, but they're just not in time,
Man.
and Mika stabs Gurren. Yu attacks Mika, but then they realize who each other are, and they start panting and looking into each other's eyes. If I didn't know any better, I thought he just saw some fine shit. Gurren shouts at Yu to activate his curse, but he's still shocked. Gurren swats Mika away and punches Yu for doing some bullshit on the battlefield. Shit, even everybody else is on his ass for it too. But then they have this heartfelt reunion, and Ferret says he'll make Yu his kin, just like how Tepes did to Mika. But Mika ain't like this joke and threatens to slime Ferret. But I ain't gonna lie, Mika will get worked. Then Crowley pulls up and now they plan to capture everyone, so Gurren gives the call to retreat. But Ferret isn't gonna let that happen. He's even mocking you by saying that they can't leave in the same way he said it 4 years ago when he packed off his entire family. This is S tier rage bait. Write that shit down. Write that shit down. You lost his head, and he's just out there shooting straight wind, missing everything. Gurren realizes he has to help him out, but with his injuries, he's getting banged up low-key. Ferret was about to have a taste of you, but Mika cuts his arm off before he could. Mika picks up you and tries to take him away, but he wants to know what he's doing with the ops. You looks back and sees Crowley choking Shinoa. All now Mika is trying to stop you from going back. It isn't just Shinoa either, the whole gang is gonna suck dry. You throws Mika off, but Shinoa
I, I always wonder, bro.
back.
Why did this nigga make this face when he was getting bit, bro? Like, bro, like he enjoying it, bro.
Whole gang is gonna suck dry. Yu throws Mika off, but Shinoa tells Yu to run away. And this is where we get down to business. Yu starts shouting before his left eye turns red and starts bleeding. He's talking to the demon Ishiromaru in his mind. Ishiromaru says that it's too late and that the monster in Yu is about to come out. And shit, he came out alright because Yu got wings coming out of his back now. He's screaming out in agony. What the fuck did they put in this nigga? Now he just swings at Mika before walking down Crowley. His one attack wiping out an entire building. Crowley dodges, but you flash steps right back to him, hitting him through the next building. Now, remind me, is this Dragon Ball or Seraph for the end? Because he's dragging this nigga through the pavement. Man. And check this kick too. Look, he's rotating his foot in his guts. This is crazy. Yu is walking towards Shinoa now. No. Please, not her. Not Shinoa. She ups her too, but Yu sends that shit to the skybox, and just as he's about to stab Shinoa, Mika blocks it with his body. Gurren shouts that Shinoa is the only one who could stop him, as she jumps into his arms begging him to stop. And you know how these berserk scenes go by now, they just need their main piece to shout their name, and they come back down to earth. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Damn! He really showed out. On that, homies. It doesn't really change much though. Watch your jet, nigga. So the whole time they were basically stalling for more backup, and this white-haired dude shoots a whole tiger out of his damn demon weapon. And this shit would have packed up Ferret if Gurren didn't have such a big mouth. But yeah, now the whole gang is here.
I really like his sniper, bro. That shit's so tough. I love all the weapons in this anime, bro. Like, and just, I really wish we were able to get another season so they could dive deeper into the power system and just explain things more. These contracts with the demons, how did they originate? Just the lore, man. It hurts my heart, man.
Battle. Shinoa pulls up on Gurren demanding answers on what type perk he gave to Yu for him to go that crazy. And despite being pretty level-headed, she's actually mad this time. He says that Yu will be awake soon enough and she should be there at his side for when he does wake up. It flashes back to the fight and Ferret tells them all to retreat for now. Mika is still being mad annoying and slaps Ferret's hands away, but he's like, "Aight nigga, I'm not joking anymore," and chokes him before they leave. Yu wakes up and Yoichi's waiting next to him and he's all excited and he's telling everybody, "Oh, Yu's woken up." Shinoa comes in first and she's making fun of him immediately, of course. She tells Yu what happened in the fight but leaves out the fact that he went berserk and almost slimed her out. Yu notices Shinoa has a bite mark and touches her to check it out. Just as this happened, Mitsuba walks in and gets the wrong idea. Then everyone ends up coming in. Yay, a happy reunion. So fast forward a bit and Shinoa and Gurren are fighting. Here it's revealed that Gurren had killed Shinoa's sister, Mahiru, and she resides in his sword. Later, Shinoa catches Yu studying about how to turn vampires into humans, and then he's summoned by the Hiragi family, and Shinoa urges him to be careful. On his way, he meets Gurren and he tells you that he shouldn't roll over for the Hiragi family and to remember who saved him and taught him how to wield the sword. He reassures him that he will never betray his friends. He sees Mitsuba, who just came out of an interview with the Hiragi family, where she was recently promoted, and even she tells you to be careful. They talking about these niggas like they're King Vaughn. And check the scene when Yu walks in. That bitch is pitch black. The door closes by itself behind him, and they got a vampire chained up in the middle of the room with a spotlight on him. They have got to be sacrificing niggas. If I wasn't a Pacers fan, I'd say this is Halliburton's next sacrifice. So Yu swiftly exterminates it, and these guys appear from the shadows on some aura farm and shit.
I remember this nigga. That nigga was, I don't know, I think he was like the strongest human. Outside of maybe Yu in his Salt King form, I wanted to see... I wanted to see more of that nigga too, bro. But
test Yu's loyalty.
no.
Next thing we have the Lieutenant General Hiragi trying to test Yu's swordsmanship, though he tells him not to use the Infernal Arms demon powers. But he is slimy as hell and uses his curse straight from the jump. He's telling Bassum on the battlefield there are no rules, but it's good that you follow my orders while second guessing him. You were good, bitch. But hey, Yu attacks him as soon as he turns his back, but one of the other people block it. He just have to show him to take his own advice. He's even kind of cold for that. The Lieutenant General even says no wonder he's Gurren's subordinate. Shinya steps in to test Yu, and yeah, he noticed him. They begin Yu's interrogation and they have Kumizuki and Yoichi getting banged up in the next room if Yu doesn't give the answers that he can. Kirito says the Hyakuya family that Yu belongs to was actually probably experimenting on him, and that Gurren is likely trying to control the power in Yu. The interrogation ends and Gurren confirms that he really only saved Yu because he thought he'd be useful, but hey, Yu is okay with that as long as he can save Mika. Speaking of Mika, he's losing his mind because he won't drink human blood, but he must resist. He must resist. So Shinoa meets by teaching Yu how to draw more power from his infernal arts, and he has another bout to Ashuramaru who flashbacks to him as a child, but his resolve is too strong, and he ends up befriending his demon. This is really that MC bullshit, man. Kimizuki has his bout too, but unfortunately I don't really care to cover
I'm not gonna lie,
it.
it really is the MC bullshit, but I love it, man. Anytime an MC got demon powers and or a demon inside of them or a demon inside something they got and they befriend that demon, I love it, bro. I'm there for it every single time. Swear to God, I want Boruto. This is off topic. I want Boruto to befriend Momoshiki. It most likely won't happen. Momoshiki. I honestly think their relationship would be better as like as it is now with Momoshiki randomly appearing and not them conversating all the time 24/7.
Disrespect to him, I actually kind of like him. It just doesn't fit my agenda. The next day, these two morons are making breakfast and are somehow burning an omelet. Now, I'd like to sit on my high horse and act like this shit never happened to me, but I ain't gonna lie, I've had a couple close calls. Kimizuki actually knows how to cook and makes food for all the gang. The reason they're there is to tell you that he actually almost smoked all of them in that one battle, and they're low-key skeptical if Gurren is actually their op. And Gurren is being questioned by Kirito because he's wondering where the hell he found 3 black demon prospects, being Yoichi, Yu, and Kimizuki. Gurren says that it's luck, but Kirito is not having all of that. He lets it slide though because he thinks Gurren is still useful to him. Anyway, he orders Gurren to head to Nagoya with his squad and 100 others to kill 10 noble vampires who are there. Bear in mind, the nobles are like Crowley and Ferret who were low-key beating the brakes off them 4 episodes ago, but hey, to each their own. He also mentions that his end goal is for the Japanese army to control like the entire world, so Gurren should just like shut up and follow.
Yes, we needed to see more of the world. Like, oh my God, this show, bro. They need to bring this shit back. Like, show us more of the world, bro. Like, oh my God,
His
man.
orders, but his sword Mahiru is telling him to follow her orders and make his own dreams come true. How about we think about what Gurren wants? How about that? Shinoa and Yu are talking, and Yu says that when they go to raid the vampires, he wants to make sure Shinoa is by his side. Aww. Fuck ass anime. Fuck you. In other news, Mika's basically a bona fide crackhead. The way he's feeling for blood. Cruel offers him some, but he's trying to take her from the source. He's just like me and that breast milk.
Right.
Oh, the naughty corner? What, you guys are doing this again? I have to go there? I ain't even doing nothing. The way Cruel was looking though, you might have thought she was low-key feeling the kid. It's just a shame that Mika is gay. Anyway, she tells Mika that the vampires plan on attacking the humans soon and that he should escape with Yu because she actually kind of likes both of them. There's like also the whole thing of them being the Seraph at the end. I don't think I've actually mentioned it till now because I'm a dumbass. Actually, to be honest, it's more because I haven't really got a clue what this shit even means, and I've even read the manga. I don't actually know. Anyway, long story short,
Well, I don't either,
both
bro.
of them are really
Wait,
important in Cruel's
the
plan.
Seraph of the End was that was the thing they experimented on with you, wasn't it? And that's how you got his powers. If I remember correctly.
Which is why she didn't want to kill them when she was actually meant to kill them. So these guys are en route to Nagoya, and on the way they're attacked by monsters, which of course they mash up. But in the process, Yu falls off the car, and these niggas just leave him to make it to their pit stop by himself. I'm crying. Anyway, they all end up at the meetup spot, but they're actually late. And to be honest, Gurren is low-key mad for the first time because they're treating this shit like it's a game. Like shit actually gets serious for once. I had to sit up in my chair. Yu takes the blame for the squad like a real nigga though, and Gurren continues with his Erwin-esque speech. Shinoa is sad because it was actually her fault that they took that long, but Yu reassures her. And look at her blushing and shit, man. That girl is in love. Turns out Gurren gives Yu some praise for taking the heat for his squad. See, let this be a life lesson. if you don't snitch, you get rewarded. Okay, so this is actually not what I was preaching. Shinoa and Ko hear you screaming up there and are rushing to help him, but it was just an illusion. Turns out this was another Gurren lecture,
Yep.
which was telling them they shouldn't have even let you go in alone. He may be a sleazebag half the time, but he's got something about how he teaches. Gurren believes Shinoa still doesn't know what to do in the event they're in a bad situation, so he sets up a mock battle between those five and him, Mito, and Shinya. Needless to say, it's going pretty badly as they break formation really early. Their plan was having you and Kimizuki box Gurren at the front because if he gets close to anybody else, he's going to fold them, like, badly. Check out Kimizuki just takes his front kick to the chest, and it was working pretty well until Gurren just blows a hole in the wall and starts hawking him down from there. But hey, everybody's just watching because you is low-key boxing with Gurren, like on a low-key level, like he's low-key keeping up. That's until Gurren
was
puts his
tough,
paper
though.
bomb in his forehead. Now you thinks he's all smart and tries to blow himself up on Gurren, but he already predicted that and has Shinya lined up behind him. You would think these niggas are LeBron and Dwayne Wade. You get sniped and can't see due to the explosion. Now Gurren tombos him, it's over. Now you're all dead. Who is he feeling like? He just jumps over you and is face to face with the rest of the team. He just one taps Mitsuba and has his sword in Shinoa's face. This hating ass nigga saying that they shouldn't even bring the newbies, and Gurren says that he should train with them instead. The vampires are posted up and Mika ends up attacking some kid because he can't hold off his urges anymore. Who might get in? This nigga just stopped himself short for like the 10th time. So Shinya is set up with Yoichi for their sniper mission together, and their target is the 15th progenitor vampire. Side note, Crowley was a 13th.
I also think what's cool is these niggas essentially got unlimited ammo and unlimited arrows. Like, genuinely.
Is the 7th, and Tep is like the 3rd or 4th, like I can't remember. Anyway, they have their sights set up.
I remember this. This
but
nigga
when they
did
shoot,
bad.
this nigga notices that he uses his subordinate as a human meat shield, or in this case, a vampire meat shield.
They did this nigga bad, bro.
Like and subscribe. You now face first with the 15th progenitor, with his team backing him up, and he's out here blocking Shinoa's shit without even looking. He ends up getting bound by one of the other group members, and he just cuts his arm off to evade the attack. Hey, vampire, word in the street, you niggas can reattach limbs, but you a bitch, so you're not gonna have this back. Oh, I'm about to do you the worst way. So the 15th progenitor gets provoked, but Kimizuki stays strapped and has 2 hitters ready waiting behind him. And between you and Shinya and the others, he can only block so much. So when he gets caught, he'd rather take himself out but get caught by the ops. He's a real dog for that, I ain't gonna lie.
I remember
He doesn't use
this. I thought they did his ass worse, but he did kill himself. He did kill himself.
Turned around the ones with the progenitor and took him out. Then someone
wish we
injured
would've
comes
saw
in
that.
and
They
tells him that
off-screened us.
45 of his men got wiped, and they took 19 of them as hostages. Now they have to spin the block, except this time they have to spin it on Crowley. And
This nigga, man.
last time that happened, they just got, it was looking pretty bad. So the Shinoa team is waiting for the other squads to return, and some come back missing a few members. Then Gurren arrives and tells everyone that the plan is to retreat the hostages into City Hall. He leaves one of the squads at the assembly point to tell the others to join up when they eventually come, and as soon as Gurren leaves, the vampires end up jumping them. And yeah, they already banged up as straight GGs. Mika wants to question the squad captain, but she orders them all to pack themselves before they're tortured for intel. Mika ends up intercepting the pill from her though, and tells her to play dead as long as she answers to where you is. After Lakers and Reen hear that the progenitors are dead, the squad captain takes Mika hostage, but I ain't gonna lie, them niggas do not care. But this is all a ploy for her to tell Mika where you is. She knows that if the vampires reach Gurren and the rest, they'll all turn into statistics, so she wants to tell them to go somewhere else while Mika goes to you alone. And hey, they're really selling the gig, you ain't even got to stand on her head. Anyway, she tells them the wrong information and they leave. Her final request is telling Mika to kill her, but Mika says no. Lakers and Ree want to bring her along for more interrogation, so she gets up and shoots Mika to force him to put out her candle. What a heroic death. They almost
That
made me
was
start
tough
caring
as
about
fuck,
her.
though.
Gurren's squad
I
is watching the
respect
City
it.
Hall and the hostages, but even though they knew it's a trap, they still got to see it through. Their objective is to hold these guys off in the main unit in Shibuya. Now, Yoichi starts it off by sniping at Crowley, but he just ends up catching that shit and throwing it away. They have 5 minutes to save the hostages and no more. The vampires got their own plan though, and it's to capture Gurren because he probably has the most intel. So one group manages to free the hostages and Gurren attacks Crowley, but he ends up blocking his attack and grabbing Gurren. But then Shinya comes in the frame, and who is he feeling like? Yeah, see what I mean? There was no reason.
Shit. Nigga trying to aura form, all you had to do was shoot, nigga. Like, I remember this scene, bro, and I'm like, oh my god, I was dying, bro.
But then Shinya comes in the frame, and who is he feeling
Like,
like?
talking
Yeah,
and shit,
see what I
shoot.
mean? There was no reason to do all that just to get rocked. He used the MC and camera's just going to help, so he makes Shinoa bring the whole team. Gurren and Shinya are sitting on the dinner table after getting folded. They're talking together like shit is sweet. They know they can't box with Crowley, and then he pulls up on him with 2 other high-level vampires with him, like he wasn't enough. It's over. And Crowley is getting disrespectful with it. He's taken by an idle.
It don't make sense, bro. Like, just how strong this nigga is. and there's an entire fucking world of motherfuckers like this. Nigga, this is just Japan. Like, I want more of this show, bro.
Conversation while fighting. They both use their specials, but it was just a distraction to get up out of there. Shinya's hurt pretty bad though, and Crowley is just walking them down like it's a horror film. Check out he bursts through the wall, and Crowley murks Gurren in like 5 seconds. Gurren commands Shinya to leave him because it's well and truly over, but just in time, you burst through the floor, attacking Crowley, but that shit did no damage. The rest of the gang pull up, but if they're jumping, then the vampires get their jump too, and they're really just no match. Gurren once again commands them to retreat, but you won't listen despite his orders. But Shinya knows what has to be done and forces you to leave. Gurren's main team pull up with illusion magic, but nothing is enough, and Gurren reiterates for the 15th time that he is a goner, so they have got to let him go. So yeah, Crowley basically 1v12 these niggas. Back at the main camp, Kirito is just out there doing whatever he wants. He's disobeying his father's orders, dismissing the law, killing niggas, and he's leaving without waiting for any of the people who went to battle in Nagoya. Effectively, he's a bastard. Yu isn't taking the Gurren thing well, but Shinoa reminds him what their goal is, and there are people who have known Gurren for longer than him, and it cuts to Shinya, who looks very, not happy. They cut to a flashback of the younger Yu when Gurren first saved him. Yu's crying because he doesn't know if life is worth living after losing all of his family, and they're having a real, father-son type moment in this shit. It's making me sad, and he ain't even showed this side before. Now there's more on Yu, just can't be a team player, and he takes 2 more of those perks, the maximum 2 ones. Anyway, he ends up taking 4 total for the day, and he's out there spewing his guts out. It's just red. They all try to make him spit it out, but before you know, his heart stops beating. And look at Shinoa's face. She has never shown this much emotion. Now, Mika is chilling outside the function, casually killing vampires because it interferes with his plans. Yu's talking to his demon, and he's basically saying that, yeah, he did die on the spot, but it's the angels that are keeping him alive. Though, Ashuramaru warns him that if he accepts the angels, it could be over because they're way slimier than demons. However, he wants power, so he approaches the trumpet. But Ashuramaru is a real one and won't let him tap into that shit, and instead lets him wield his power for 3 minutes while becoming a demon. He's back alive because, I don't really know. The demons can heal quicker or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, he wakes up in front of all his homies and is just like, gotta dash, and sprints to Gurren's aid. Now, Gurren is getting tortured, but he still makes snide remarks as he always does. Crowley notices Yu flying in and feels he's gotten stronger. But even through all of this, Crowley is still working
Like,
this nigga. I cannot believe this. His beef.
it don't make no sense how strong this nigga is, bro. Like, genuinely, he was too, and they so lucky he not some bloodthirsty ass nigga, bro. Like, they're so lucky he chill, bro. Like, so fucking lucky.
Is the most one-sided shit of all time. Turn this off. Gurren jumps in the way of Yu to stop Crowley from killing him. Yu keeps on fighting and letting Ashuramaru take more control, and he grows a whole demon horn. And I was gonna lie and say he'd only look clean if you were a 14-year-old edgy guy, but I'm gonna keep it a bean. He looked cold as hell when I was 9, and he looks cold as hell to this day. Kimizuki pops up his Black Coffin ability and throws Yu into it before retreating. Enemy reinforcements arrive while they're running, and it's Mika demanding to see Yu. He charges straight into the entire force head on like he's Madara. I mean, who is he feeling like? He's getting worked. But he sees Yu and gets another burst of strength. Yeah, he is definitely gay. He ends up headbutting Shimizuki and going for Yu. Yoichi stops him and Shinya ends up stabbing Mika, but Shinoa protects him. She's really standing 10 toes for Mika. Anyway, Shinya orders the rest not to kill Shinoa as he wants an explanation, but the vampires are jumping out of helis like it's Rebirth Island, and it is looking bleak. Yu wakes up from his sleep after Mika escapes with him, and Mika is at his wit's end because he needs to drink human blood. Naturally, Yu has MC gene, so he lets him drink his. Anyway, this turns Mika into a full vampire. They want to go rendezvous at the airport to meet with the main unit in Shibuya, but as I said before, Kirito's already sliming them niggas out, so they've been left for dead. Oh yeah, this whole time they've been using Kimizuki's sister as a lab rat. Anyway, this bitch trying to kill Shinoa because her friends got smoked while they were protecting Mika. Pretty reasonable, but I'm biased, so shut your mouth when you're speaking to Shinoa, bitch. Anyway, old buddy here is like he's gonna kill Shinoa himself, but Shinya tells him to stop. He says that there's no way they can get away with this, so fuck the system. I am not taking orders from anyone besides Gurren. So he sets out to go and rescue him, and of course the rest will follow suit. Though I'm not sure how they plan on doing that because Crowley, Farid, and like 3 other nobles are there, so they can forget about that. Anyway, it's revealed that Farid was low-key leaking info. And
That's why I always wanted to see how strong was the top dog of the humans. The nigga with that thunder power. I always wanted to see if he could hang with like Krollo or one of the other nobles, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, to beat a noble vampire, bro, you would at least need like 4 humans, bro. It like minimum, like an average noble, you would minimum need like 4 of these type of humans. Insane, bro.
Gurren is still being beat up and he spits on their face. Farid says that Gurren is already a half demon and he flips between personalities, the one who loves his family and the one who's ready to follow his demon to hell. And yeah, Gurren is talking to his demon Mahiru, and he's allowing her to take control for a while. He stops the noble
I
attacking him,
remember
and he actually just
this.
like one-shots him. Hello? You had this in the locker this whole time? And Peepa Mahiru spawns in the back. Oh yeah, I've seen this shit before. Yuta, is that you? Gurren attacks, but Tepes is like top 3 progenitor, so even Gurren can't really box with her. He knows that Tepes is a traitor for the vampires and is laughing about how she knows that she can't actually kill him. He tells Tepes that the meetup spot is the airport, and she heads over there. Kirito lands and is asking of Gurren. Shinya tells him that he's been captured, and Kirito says that shit is not possible. Then asks, wait, which personality was it? Shinya is confused. Anyway, Kirito basically saying that this whole BS is over, and he unleashes some more bullshit from the aircraft that is out there just killing soldiers from Nagoya. This is fully a split in the military, and Kirito's basically implying that they've got to pack it up, roll over, and die now.
I
The
was
BS
always
even
confused
attacks
about that.
Shinoa.
Like,
I like
what the
deadass
fuck?
have no idea what to call it. But Yu steps in saving her. For now, all they can do is retreat against those black spike things. The vampire reinforcements finally land, and behind them all is Gurren. And while Yu finally sees him, Gurren just tries to murk him right off the bat. However, Mika steps in time. Though this isn't like the first match of Mika is getting baked. Now Gurren is indiscriminately attacking everyone. I don't even know what's happening. The box has sucking out nigga's soul. Kimizuki's sister turns into an angel.
Man.
Yo, I actually had to pause recording because I was laughing. What is happening? Anyway, she alters the entire landscape, but Kimizuki can't stand for this. That's his little sister after all, so he runs in there head first, which has literally never gone well in this series. And yeah, this is no different. Gurren just puts a hole in his guts. Yu and Mika try helping, but Yu hasn't got the heart to attack. He tries to talk no jutsu Gurren, and he starts crying, but Gurren just ends up stabbing Yu anyway and laugh crying like to himself. This nigga has lost his mind. Anyway, what I can only
What
assume
the
is the
fuck was
Seraph of the
going
end
on
comes
with
into
Gurren,
fruition,
bro?
and it starts spawning in monsters where again indiscriminately murking niggas. Why is nobody on each other's side? What is that? Who are the allies?
Like, bro.
Some BS happens. Mika gets hurt, and Yu decides that he will tap into the power of the angels inside him to bring out all of his power. Then we see a new form that Yu took. Now Kirito's talking about some annihilate him. Does he know? This is the same nigga who was dragging Crowley through the cement. They attacked him, but I ain't even got to say too much. That shit did no damage.
Shot.
And Peep Yu's form, this might actually be the cleanest of them all. He's talking about dishing out divine punishment, and he lets out this wave that is literally turning niggas into salt. Creates a salt pillar and clashes with the other angel before running up the side of it and down slamming. And yeah, this looks like that one Adam Smasher scene. Old buddy literally turns into pixie dust. At the very least, Kimizuki's sister is not a pile of salt. Angel Yu is saying that he's gonna end all of humanity for their greed, but Kirito is having none of that and attacks Yu. Now Shiramaru takes over Yu to fully nullify the angel's powers. Okay, if you thought whatever was happening before was crazy, we haven't even seen the start. So Shinoa and the guys rush to save Yu. Kirito and the rest of the army want to kill him. Mika and Cruel Tepes are joining to help Shinoa. Then Crowley comes out of nowhere and attacks Cruel. But like I said, he's weaker than her, and she corkscrews that nigga's neck. However, in doing so, she's left wide open, and Fair comes in to suck her blood. Then he assumes control of the whole...
I forgot about the vampire infighting. I honestly forgot all about that.
vampire army, and dubs Tepes a traitor and commands the vampires to kill the human. All now, Gurren is still doing whatever the fuck he wants. Anyway, I'm gonna finally give this guy a name, Narumi. He's pretty cool by the end, I kinda mess with him. But he builds a wall to let the gang escape while the vampires fight the humans. Gurren is met with Shinya, who isn't happy about how he's left in the dark. And Gurren starts laughing, but Shinya clocks him to show that this shit is not a game. It skips a few months later. Shinoa and the gang are basically living as fugitives, and they plan on going back to rescue Kimizuki's little sister and Gurren. Then the show just kinda ends. So yeah, like most of these 2010 shows, it's plagued with a stupid or unfinished ending. Genuinely might be one of the most one-sided beef ever, considering there's like 8 people stronger than Crowley, and he alone was dog walking like the top 10 humans. But hey, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, recommend some shit in the comments below. It's been Narratives.
That nigga was way too strong, bro. Like, I can't even lie. If they continued that show, I don't know who would have killed that nigga, bro. Cause like, but this was a really good video, man. And if you did like it, please like and subscribe so I can continue to keep doing these reaction videos. And as usual, I don't got too much to say. I'll see y'all next time.